Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at a piece that I generated in the Midjourney AI Generative Art program. This episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about chaos and order. We're going to talk about the transformative element of fire, and we're also going to talk about the ancient symbol known as the phoenix. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, you see the scene of a lone phoenix emerging out of this stormy ocean. And so we see this quite brilliantly, and we also see the placement is a little bit off center. That forces us to really interact with the canvas a bit deeper, whether we're wondering why it's off center. Oops. Whether we're wondering why it's off center or what exactly it's doing. So we see that emergent, and with that in mind, that definitely catches the eye. Another thing that catches the eye is this brilliant contrast that we see here. This, of course, defines the form of our subject, and it really accents it to the highest degree possible. These fluorescent, these fanatic degrees, of course, define the form as well. And of course, it catches our eye. We see what appears to be kind of a light on dark contrast in the descendant region, and then more of a dark on light contrast, say, in the ascendant region. But regardless of that, definitely catches the eye, and that defines the form of our subject. We also see this incredible sense of a release of potentiality or release of energy within the work at hand. And of course, this is everything from these constant curves to the kind of stormy ocean, to the clouds and textures in the back. All of that reinforces this extreme sense of energy that is incredibly important whenever we're taking a look at this. Of course, we see the wings are flying upwards, so we can infer that our subject is moving, say, let's see, what color would be best? Subject is moving upwards. So there's also this sense of kind of ascension. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the phoenix here in a second, but the phoenix, or the rebirth of the phoenix, revitalization of the phoenix's soul, it's also kind of going towards the heavens as well. So I think that's a little subtle sense of symbolism we could draw as well. All of those incredibly important whenever taking a look at this work. And so we see the dual kind of oppositional forces working here, of course, fire and water. That also mimics the kind of constant cycle of the cosmos, as we cannot define, say, light without admitting the existence of the dark. We cannot define death without admitting that there's the existence of light. Life, dark and light, whether it's day and night, good and evil, all of those are really juxtaposed forces that are incredibly important. If you guys know the yin and yang, that's actually what we're talking about here as well, just in a little bit different context, say, in the two dual oppositional forces of fire and water. All very important whenever taking a look at this work. And so you see the say, chaos and order. So the storm, or the sea itself, has historically been a sign of the flood, or a sign of chaos. So whether it's a flood, an immense amount of water, such as the ocean, the vast ocean that goes past the horizon, that is a symbol of chaos. And then, say, the life form, or the existence of life, could be seen as order. So we see order emerging from chaos, or order born from chaos. And Mother Nature also has those elements as well. Of course, Mother Nature can give us floods, can give us, massive landslides, tornadoes, tsunamis, anything, wildfires. There's this kind of dual oppositional force that Mother Nature has, where she can destroy, but she can also create as well, or the birth of life. So we kind of see that as well. Of course, Mother Nature could be seen as the great flood. So we see a symbol of order emerging from the symbol of chaos, or born from the symbol of chaos. Really, really important scene that we're looking at here. And so with that in mind, fire is a really, really, really important element. We could say it's probably one of the most primal forces that we have, because not only does it, light our way in the night, not only does it also have the deadly potential of burning down an entire village, but there also is a transformative element of fire. Of course, it literally burns and creates, say, a chemical reaction, but even our ancient ancestors, even our archaic ancestors, knew that fire was a symbol of transformation or evolution. So the phoenix is incredibly that. I think that's really important whenever taking a look at this work. And so the phoenix, the origin has been largely disputed. In reality, we can really draw it as a kind of amalgamation of so many different symbols. Of course, ancient stories were told, kind of oral storytelling, just told around the fire, generation after generation after generation until we got writing, until we were able to abstract that into something that could live on beyond us. So I think that's incredibly important. And the phoenix, there's a largely disputed origin of it. Some say the Greeks, some say the Egyptians, but regardless of that, the phoenix is a very ancient and a very important symbol at that. And the reason it is important is because, of course, we talked about fire as a sense of transformation, and the phoenix itself. Wow, I keep doing that. The phoenix itself is the symbol of transformation. Of course, whenever it dies, it turns into ash, and then it transforms or is reborn, revitalized life, and is born again as the phoenix once more. So I think that's really, really important whenever we're taking a look at this work. And of course, the transformative element can be tied to countless different things. There's that element of the rebirth. We can see that everywhere from, say, the setting of the sun to the rising of the sun. We could see it everywhere from kind of the birth of life to the death of life. We could see it everywhere, even from changing one's mind. Whenever we change our mind, we are essentially creating a new version of ourselves. So there's this constant rebirth, this death and rebirth that we have to really talk about. It's incredibly important in this scene. I think it does an amazing job at displaying that for sure. And so this piece is an AI generative art piece, so created in an AI generative art program. That program was Midjourney, probably the most accessible program at the moment, considering its power as well. And I believe the team is about 12 members, and it's led by David Hulls, if I remember correctly. But yeah, just an amazing piece. Love using Midjourney. I do prefer DALL-E a bit more, but just because of the accuracy. But Midjourney definitely has its place. You see this very kind of stylistic flow to this painting here, all very important, and some people like that a lot more than, say, DALL-E 2's accuracy. So Midjourney is definitely for some people, and DALL-E is definitely for others. So I hope you guys enjoyed this piece. We talked a little bit about the transformative element of fire, ancient symbol of the phoenix, and everything in between. And my name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.